Well, good morning. Oh, yeah, I interrupted you. We've got a lot to get to, and I apologize. We do certainly have a lot to get to this morning. We want to answer your questions at home.
Yeah, we do. But first, we do want to say good morning, happy Friday to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on Still Up with 6. We see so many people joining us right now from Corpus, from Killeen, from Waco. Good morning to all of you. Let's jump right into it because as we've been doing all week here on Still Up, we've been wanting to keep you guys informed, keep you up to date on the very latest on the coronavirus. Of course, that is our big topic of discussion. So let's start with the numbers. Chris?
Yeah, there are 7 total cases right now in McLennan County. Those are the latest numbers. 6 in Bell, 4 in Brazos County in Texas. Right now, 5 people have died. More than 140 people have tested positive. And of course, nationwide, we've seen 150 deaths with more than 10,000 cases.
Yeah, and of course, if you didn't hear the news yesterday, Governor Abbott has issued a statewide public health disaster. So what does that mean? That means all schools, bars, as well as movie theaters. Every public place will be closed, gyms, restaurants. But of course, you can still take your food to go if you do want to order from any business.
Good morning to you, Holly, and good morning to you, Sherry. Thank you for joining us. Of course, we're here this morning to answer the questions that you have at home. We have been working around the clock, not only with leading health professionals, the CDC, the WHO, to make sure that you have what you need to know to keep you and your family safe. So sound off in the comments right now. Let us know what you are wondering about. Of course, we had so many verify questions that I got to today. A big question that has come to me more than 50, 60 times in the past week. Can your pets get coronavirus? We do want to remind you this morning, if you didn't catch the verified, that right now the CDC says there is no evidence this can be transmitted by your pets or that they'll show any symptoms.
Yeah, and that is good news. I mean, in light of all this, that is really good news. Being a pom mom myself and having a little pup, it is important to know that, and I can see why you got so many questions about it. But let us know if you do have a question right now. Go ahead and comment in the comment section. We'll try to get to it if we know the answer, and if not, Chris will note it so that he can get to it in a verify later next week. But, you know, the big thing right now is that California is now, the governor has ordered everyone in California to stay home. This is the first statewide ban that we've seen for people to be banned from going out. He says only emergencies, only if you really need to go out, leave your house. And that's been our topic of discussion all morning long, which is why we've been asking you if you think Texas should do the same. Do you think Governor Greg Abbott should issue this and make sure everyone stays home by issuing that order?
Amy says, when we are being told to stay home, but what if you have a doctor's appointment? Amy, it's a good question. You're still allowed to go to your doctor's appointments. What I would say, Amy, if it's not essential right now, you cancel it. It's something that so many millions of Americans are being asked to do right now. Our health system is overwhelmed right now. There's not enough doctors, enough nurses right now to address what's a pandemic. So if your appointment is not extremely urgent, we would urge anyone to delay it.
And I will say, if you have an appointment with Baylor Scott & White, they are calling you ahead of your appointment to see if you still need that appointment, if it is important and an emergency. If not, I know doctors are doing appointments via phone. That's what I had an appointment actually on Monday. I got the call yesterday saying that my doctor could talk to me on the phone and tell me what's, you know, we can discuss what's going on. But if I don't need to go in, I should not go in.
Yeah, Holly's asking, are our establishments considered to be non-essential? I know that you work at a hair salon, Holly. I think that people right now, at least in the state of Texas, they're just being asked to limit the number of people that are gathering at your establishment. So right now, you won't be shut down. Abigail asking to kind of curtail on that. Do you see all businesses closed in the future due to the coronavirus in Texas? I would have told you 4 days ago, no, Abigail. I would have said 4 days ago, no, I wouldn't foresee this. But what we're seeing with the movements in California and the numbers increasing here in Texas, it is a very real possibility. But right now, no word as to if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, but in terms of our own personal opinion, based off what we're seeing, as you said, Chris, things are developing so quickly, and we tell you this every single day, that new information is coming out every single day, new cases, more deaths are being reported. I can see this happening. I can see all businesses being asked to shut down.
Justin asking, do we know what the best practices for staying safe while going to the store are? Is it just using hand sanitizer and cleaning your cart? Right now, health experts, Justin, it's a very good question, because of course, some of the biggest crowds that we're seeing congregating are at your H-E-Bs, your Walmarts, your Targets. And right now, yeah, the best thing you can do to stay safe is to sanitize your cart, sanitize your hand, and while you're in the grocery store and after you're at the grocery store, make sure you're not touching your face. That's the most important thing until you get home, until you're able to thoroughly wash your hands. So that's just best sanitary practices. And of course, be in and out. Don't be lingering in the grocery store.
Yeah, and I think Matt agrees with you. Better safe than sorry, saying don't overreact, but make smart decisions. Thank you for all the reporting, the latest information. We're very welcome. Marissa asked, do you think Texas will be next for shelter in place? That's actually the question we asked you guys this morning. And based off what you guys thought, you guys think we should echo what California has done in the past 24 hours and ban people from leaving their house, encourage them to stay home unless it's absolutely necessary that they leave. 61% said yes, 39% said no.
So Amy followed up with that her daughter has to see a lung specialist. She has life-threatening asthma. Amy, because of the nature of this disease, coronavirus, it is a respiratory virus. I would encourage you to immediately contact your specialist to see whether or not this will be considered urgent, because that could be a situation that is exempt from the people that are being asked to cancel. Whether or not that's a situation that could affect her, I think for right now, Amy, certainly it is in your best interest to make sure your daughter is not exposed to the outside world as much as possible. Certainly if she has underlying symptoms like that. Yeah,
and I would wait for a call. You will probably be getting one from your specialist in regards for your case and what to do next with this coronavirus outbreak.
And Yolanda is saying, what are the consequences for being out, and who determines your outing essential or otherwise? Police. What's the penal code for non-essential outings? Right now, I'm not quite sure of that answer, but I can tell you if you're a business that continues to be open when you've been asked to close, whether that be a bar, whether that be a movie theater, whether that be a gym, you are liable to be punished with a Class C misdemeanor. That's punishable up to $1,000 fine. Even jail time is possible.
And Alicia is saying, my job has 200 plus employees who sit side by side. It's a call center, but recently I have missed the past 2 days. Am I doing the right thing? I'm worried about losing my job. This is a very interesting topic of discussion because there are still some businesses that are open and are operating. But I would say you are doing the right thing. You are being encouraged to social distance. You are being encouraged to stay home. I think that, you know, if you lose your job, you've got yourself an argument here because we are in the midst of an outbreak. And in McLennan County, you're not even allowed to be within a group of more than 10 people. So it's really interesting that call center is still open with all those employees.
John's asking, I understand that we are getting checks sent to us, but with Texas going on a statewide shutdown, if that happens, how will that affect our bills, mortgage, loans, etc.? What we can tell you is that right now, a lot of utility companies across the country have delayed penalties and fees, late fees. Of course, we heard President Trump the other day announce that foreclosures and evictions right now temporarily suspended. So if you can't make that rent payment, if you can't make that mortgage payment, you're not going to be kicked out of your house. You're not going to go homeless.
No.
Right now, they're temporarily suspending those types of payments. You're going to see this as a growing trend. You're going to see utility payments suspended. You're going to see those types of late fees. Of course, if you haven't paid your taxes yet, IRS has waived that for and waived fees on that as well.
And to add to that, as well as your wireless carriers, they said that they will not be cutting any service and they will not be issuing any late fees right now. Of course, we need our phones to stay informed. A lot of you guys don't even have internet. You rely on your phone to keep you connected to the world, and so good on the carriers for doing that. It is important, especially as we self-quarantine. We use this for entertainment, but we also use our phones to stay informed.
Abigail's asking, excuse me, if at-home coronavirus tests are actually being sold right now. No, Abigail, so far at-home coronavirus tests are not being circulated. The president did mention yesterday in his press conference that this was something that they were hoping to move toward in the near future, but right now that is not something that's being sold. So if you are seeing advertisements or offers of at-home coronavirus tests, just know that's an absolute scam.
Justin says, I've heard that it will take up to 12 or even 18 months for a vaccine. Has there been any major headway on that, or is that ETA still the same? Unfortunately, we do want to say that is true.
Yeah, that ETA is the same right now. The president mentioned yesterday, as well as some of the leading health officials, they are testing a type of malaria drug that could be effective potentially in easing some of those symptoms. But right now, the timeline for that vaccine has remained the same, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it is scary to think that it's going to take that long. 12 to 18 months is a very long time. I think the whole world is trying to navigate, and we've only been dealing with this outbreak for about 2 weeks seriously with all these different orders in place. So it is a scary time to think that 12 to 18 months is how long it's going to take to get that vaccine.
And we know that so many of you have so many questions, and we are going to have to cut this short in a little bit here in a couple of minutes, but we want you to continue sending in your questions. send us a Facebook message. Send us an email to our news account, news@kcntv.com. We've also got a phone number that you can contact us. That's right there on your screen. You can text coronavirus to 254-859-5481, and you'll get everything you need to know sent to you right to your phone.
Yeah, and it's really important that you save that number because we will continue updating you whenever there is new information. We know Killeen ISD is holding an emergency meeting today at 9 a.m., so in a little less than 2 hours. So expect an update from them on what will happen next for Killeen ISD students. I know you guys have had a lot of questions on that, and you guys have had a lot of good questions, and it's really important before you share any information to verify it. So contact Chris. There's his contact information to get your questions answered. But just recommend everybody stay home if you can, self-quarantine, and of course if you're out, social distance. That is really important. We are doing everything we can here to social distance but still be able to provide the news and bring you all the updates from our studios here in Temple.
I do want to answer 2 quick questions right here before we head out because Hector's asking about daycares, which is a big question mark right now. Why are they closing? Of course, if they're an individual business, that is their right to choose whether or not they close. The government can't mandate they stay open right now, I don't think. So that might be the reason that some daycares are closing. And one last question from Abigail. Do we see a recession coming? We hope not. Of course, we can't predict that right now. We're hoping that if we flatten the curve, and that's why it's so important for you guys to stay indoors. We need to flatten the curve, not only for our health, but also for the economy. So hopefully the stock market will eventually make that comeback. Hopefully you guys who are out of work will get back to work, and we can get the economy back on track.
And Rosa, last question. When is the official day? Does hair salons and nail salons have to close? As of right now, we don't know. But again, you're encouraged to self-quarantine, so put off those appointments if you can and if they're not really necessary at this time. But I do expect a lot of places to choose to self-close just because that's not really on people's minds right now. That's not the first thing they're thinking of when it comes to getting their hair done and their nails done and whatnot.
Bill says, smile, people, and wash your hands. And I think that that's a great piece of advice. We have to remember there's still some good news in our community. There's still so many people out there helping, reaching out to help their neighbors. We encourage you guys to do the same, and let us know if you're seeing someone do good in your community.
That's right. There's all the information. We are calling this Send the Love, so message us on Facebook if you know somebody who's doing good right now. And of course, I put a post on my Facebook page, if you follow me, asking if there's any elderly people or people with special circumstances that can't get their groceries, that need help. Chris and I have offered to go and get those for you, and of course drop them off and keep our social distance really far apart, and we can't have any physical contact. But if you know anybody who needs this, head to my Facebook page, drop a comment, and we'll be sure to do what we can to help.
We want to thank all of you for joining us here on Still Up with 6. Keep the questions coming even as we go off the air here. Stay safe out there, keep your family safe, and remember to practice hygiene.
That is right. Wash your hands and please stay safe this weekend, and hopefully we will see you all on Monday morning to answer more of your questions. Have a great weekend.